It's Wednesday, and we're here at Tommy Trojan on the campus of USC for TrojanInsider.com. Peter Gearson, alongside Scott Schrader. And everyone knows it's a huge game in the Pac-12 South this week. The fight for the Pac-12 South is on the line at the Coliseum Saturday night at 7:15 Pacific time. USC versus an undefeated Colorado team. Scott, USC coming off their bye week. They had a couple of tough practices this week. What did you see from the team, and what is the mojo going in with what Clay's been telling us?
Well, over the past, even before the bye week, it seemed like practices were more energetic and kind of, they were more competitive. And I know fans are wondering why it took a few losses to get to that point, but this week after the bye week, practices were by far the best two practices I've seen. Yesterday's practice was very energetic, very loud. The competitiveness is just, you can't miss it. It's very noticeable, and today was no different. In fact, I asked a couple guys today, because I was only at half practice yesterday, and I said, today's practice was really impressive, and one player said yesterday's was even better. So, I think they had a nice rest. Clay, the message from Clay obviously got through on that aspect of it. Tyler Bonds was saying we're going to take care of business, and so meaning they're going to eliminate some of the stuff that's been plaguing them with the penalties and discipline stuff.
Yeah, speaking of penalties discipline, Clay said that the team was working a lot on that last week. They're really focusing on themselves last week, and this week they kind of shift right into another game week, really focusing on game plan, getting ready for this Colorado attack, which is can mix it really up on offense, and they also like to run a couple trick plays. So yeah, we've seen special teams doing some little extra stuff today. They're working on onside kicks and things. So we'll hope that USC comes prepared. A 5-0 team. Yes, Colorado hasn't had the toughest opponents, but they're undefeated. This game can determine the Pac-12 South. Whoever wins can control their own destiny, and really, if they win out, they will get into that Pac-12 championship game come November 30th.
You can't control the opponents that you play. You can control the outcome most of the time, and Colorado is 5-0, but you can't look past the fact that the combined wins of those 5 victories were against teams with a combined 7 wins.
Yep.
Arizona State had 4 of those wins. Colorado's left home 1 game. They played Nebraska, where they won by 5 points or something like that. So Colorado has not been tested. USC has not lost at the Coliseum since 2015. So looking at practices, the way they look, the team is looking sharp. They're looking energetic. It's going to be tough, I think, for Colorado to come to the Coliseum and beat USC, and there is a lot on the line.
Yep, and USC comes in as heavy favorites. You mentioned USC hasn't lost the Coliseum in a couple of seasons now. It's 18 in a row under Clay Helton, and we're sure Clay Helton doesn't want that record to go down this weekend against arguably the biggest game of the season. Let's go into injuries a little bit. Cam Smith, a little worrisome, left practice today with a pulled hamstring. I'm not going to say pulled, actually tight was more of the lingo. So he's still, I'm guessing he's going to suit up and be out there on the weekend. They're going to give him some rest and stuff, but just something to take a note. Toa had some back spasms. Levi was working out today, but wasn't in practice. They said he just got him for a workout.
Jay Tufele was back practicing today.
Jay was back, exactly.
After his car accident, where they sat him out yesterday on some protocol, I guess concussion or whatever, so obviously he's cleared from that.
Of course, Almond Ross St. Brown's been dealing with that shoulder all season, but he's had a nice week off last week. JT didn't throw too much last week, so I'm hoping that these guys, after a full bye week of rest and focus on themselves, kind of working out those kinks, then a full week of preparing for Colorado. Clay has been talking about how they've just been watching nonstop film, him specifically and the team. He spent all weekend watching film of Colorado and being a football fan and watching a little Red River rivalry and some of those games too. So I think USC is going to be as prepared as ever this weekend, and they very well should be, because it's a huge game.
That's the sense I got after these 2 practices that I've been to. It just seems like things are different. So they have to go out on the football field on Saturday at the Coliseum and execute it. But Almond Ross St. Brown, man, today he was, I've seen him play a lot of football. Today in practice, he was unstoppable. Whether it was route running, catching the ball, it was something to watch today. So
yeah, all the receivers, even Michael Pittman. You got a sweet video. Michael Pittman making a one-handed catch.
And that's been a part of practice that's been standing out is the one-on-ones, and it is really competitive, and it's getting the guys, receivers and the DBs, to high point the ball, to look back at the ball, and seeing a team right now that looks like, you know, they're either going to go one direction or the other. And it's just, my sense is I think they're going to finally start going in the right direction.
All right, so big game this weekend, of course. We'll be there for you. Scott was in extended stay in Arizona after the win in Tucson. He'll tell you a little bit right now about the recruiting and what that was like.
A week ago Friday, I saw Noah Pola-Gates, and I think right now it's down to USC and Alabama for him. He will take an official visit to USC later in this recruiting process, probably after the season. And then I saw Keaton Slovis play, the quarterback commit that USC has, and he looks good. You know, he'll be coming in between JT and Bryce Young, so it's a good fit. I like his decision making. I like the way he throws the deep ball. It looks like he's really accurate, and he's coached by Kurt Warner, which can't hurt him either. So this week, Friday, I will be at Santa Ana College watching. It's a big game. Yes,
I thought you were going to be.
That's where Mater Dei plays their home games. Okay. I will be at Mater Dei St. John Bosco, where potentially I could be watching 10+ future Trojans for all we know. Depending on the class, they've got freshmen that are big-time players. So it's going to be really interesting to watch this football game. Last year, Mater Dei pretty much had their way with Bosco for the most part, but last year was DJ Uiagalele's first start as a quarterback, as a sophomore, and his first game was Mater Dei. So this year it's a lot different. Mater Dei lost some key players on defense, but man, it's going to be fun to watch Bryce Young and DJ Uiagalele, two of the top quarterbacks in the country, both juniors, and watch the big-time athletes both these teams have.
Yeah, I actually asked Almond Ross St. Brown, who obviously played at Mater Dei last year, who he's going to take in that game. He's like, both teams are great, but I've got Mater Dei by 14, 45-31, so he's thinking it's going to be a shootout.
There you go.
But we'll see you guys this weekend. Check out TrojanInsider.com and, of course, the USC Scoop Twitter account for more info, more interviews, more analysis. We'll get you guys podcast, post-game show, the whole 9 yards on Saturday night. It's going to be a late one, though. Of course, at the Collie, 7:15 start.
But we will be. We'll have our video recap at probably 1 a.m.
Leaving around the Coliseum by 1 a.m. So for Scott Schrader, I'm Peter Gerson. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and good night.
Good night. Yeah. Cool. All right. So now I know